So during lunch today, I received an award from the student body, Survivor Award. I don't know if you can see that, but it's for the teacher who's the most organized and has multiple tasks up their sleeves. And so I received that from the student body, which is great. I guess they recognize my organization. It is 4:47 p.m. Monday. My B-Days, today's not a B-Day, today's an A-Day. My A-Day students did what my B-Day students did on Friday, I'm sorry. And that was just watching the acid-based modules. There were 3 videos that I embedded quizzes into the Camtasia software. And however, what I did today, because this is the last full week of instruction, next week I will have my A-Day and B-Day like I normally do on Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday is a C-Day, so I will see all of my classes, and then finals begin next Thursday and Friday, and then there's no school because of Memorial Day that following Monday. So there have been some students that have been out. We've had testing like the last 2 weeks, and I needed to get them like just all on the same, you know, pace in regard to what we're doing. So once a couple students finished, I did some problems with them on the board while the other students were finished watching the videos. I gave those particular students some problems to practice on while the second group of students finished the videos. Then I did some problems with them up on the board, and then eventually they all got to a point where they were able to catch up with the other group of students. So that seemed to work well. And then just tomorrow and the rest of the week, we are going to be reviewing for finals and the end of the school year. So with that said, I am going to grab my stuff and I am going to head home. It is 4:48 p.m. Tuesday. My B-Day students, they started the review for their final because my 6th period, they start their final next Thursday, and 7th period will be on next Friday. Someone came and fixed my laptop. However, all the data that was on the hard drive was lost. Luckily, most of my stuff was saved in a Dropbox account. However, I had some files on there that I don't think were saved on my Dropbox account, but I think they're saved someplace else on another computer. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe ask that teacher or the person who replaced me as an AP if I can, during the summer, bring an external hard drive and connect so I can see if I can get those files back. Yeah, and that's it. So it's just really at this point review time, having students do reassessments for the last unit if they want to get a higher score than they got on a previous assessment, but right now it's just gearing up for the final exams. My dual credit Cambridge class, they took their last post test and they will take their final. We're going to the library that day because some of them are seniors and they have to turn in their Chromebooks on the 21st. So I was able to secure the library on the 22nd, but I'm gonna grab my stuff and I'm gonna go home. It is 4:56 p.m. Wednesday. I don't feel too well right now. I'm gonna get ready to go home. My 8A classes just reviewed today, so they did what my classes did yesterday. My 1st and 2nd period, we had this award ceremony it started like halfway through 1st period, so over half of my 1st period students, they had to leave to go attend the ceremony. And then I guess it rolled into all the way to lunch, so my 2nd period was also half full today. Then 4th period, everybody was present, and I just had students like go to the board because my projector bulb, I guess, finally went out. So luckily for me, school's almost over and we're just reviewing at this point, so I don't really need it. Also, I had my students take a survey yesterday. I don't know if I said this yesterday, but I had my students take a survey yesterday and today because I'm trying to get a specialty advisory class set up to go. So I have several students that are interested in doing that. So I just emailed that off a few seconds ago to the administrator who's going to, I guess, start scheduling those for next year. But I'm gonna grab my stuff, go home and get some rest. It is 5:55 p.m. Thursday. I'm here a little bit later than I wanted to be. However, I had a group of students come in for tutoring. Some of them needed to make up hours and some of them wanted to study for the final exam. Today was a little bit weird. My 6th periods, over half of my 6th period was absent today because they were taking the AP US World History exam. 7th period was fine. We had our teacher appreciation lunch. We actually had our teacher appreciation week this week because last week we were testing. So during lunch today, I received an award from the student body, Survivor Award. I don't know if you can see that, but it's for the teacher who's the most organized and has multiple tasks up their sleeves. And so I received that from the student body, which is great. I guess they recognize my organization. So after that, so we had like big potatoes and things during lunch, and we had an extended lunch, and so students got about an hour for lunch instead of 45 minutes. And then my 8th period, we played Kahoot, but I had to take them to another room because I think I said this yesterday, my light bulb and the projector went out, and so I can no longer use it, but thankfully it's the end of the school year. Light bulb going out, dropping my laptop, breaking it, losing my data. Never ends. My A-Day classes are going to do the same thing that my B-Day classes do tomorrow. And oh, I did tell my students that I am going to break their final up by grading period. So like I've done their tests in the past, so I'll have 4 6 weeks, 5 6 weeks, and the 6 6 weeks. And if those who failed, I'm gonna help them out. If those who failed, if they can demonstrate proficiency in topics that were covered during the 4 6 weeks, for example, exam, then I will go back into the grade book and I will change their 4 6 weeks grade to a 70. That's the highest I'm willing to change it, considering that they failed the first time. So some of the students worked really hard, some of them who needed to didn't. I had to confiscate some phones, unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna grab my stuff and go home because it's almost 6 o'clock. It is 5:05 p.m. Friday. I'm here a lot longer than I wanna be, and that seems to be a theme lately, but I totally forgot to submit some electronic paperwork for my English language learners, which was due yesterday, and I totally forgot about it. Luckily for me, I didn't have that many students, and many of them didn't really need additional supports for them, so I was able to complete it really quickly. Today actually marks the last full day instructional Friday, because next week finals begin on Thursday and Friday, and those are both half days. Next Wednesday is a C day. My A-Day students, they just reviewed, they did part 2 like my B-Day students did yesterday. I have a couple students that are in dual credit courses, and they have to take their final early next week. So I just need to do some final checks on the final exam, because it's going to be online. And I just found out today also that most likely students that don't want to take their Chromebooks home over the summer, they could turn them in. And so some of my students had already said prior to me finding that out today that they wanted to turn their notebook in, they didn't want to hold on to it. So I reserved the library computers to take our finals in. So as soon as I found that out, because I had my summative conference wrapping up like my evaluation today, so during the conversation I found that out. So I was like, let me run down to the library and see if I can reserve the computers, and I was able to do that. So I am going to grab my stuff and I am going to get out of here. Well, that's it. If there was anything about this video that you liked, then make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and or share the video. If you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe so that way you can bond with James. And if you're interested in checking out some of my other vlogs, you can do so by clicking on any of the links right here. As always, thanks for watching.